Welcome to Let's Talk About It with your boy DJ Reality and your homegirl Keish Keish.
What up,
How you
though?
doing today? How
I'm
your day
good.
going?
I'm good. What up, though?
Cool. What's going on in the D? Is it cold?
It's cold today. It's starting to snow.
Okay.
We
Shit.
had
Shit. It
some.
was
We
snowing.
had.
Shit. It was snowing when I was there, man. Like I was walking my dog. I got this little whack ass video where I was walking there. It was the what was that? I forgot the date on it. Don't matter. But the day I was getting ready to leave to head back to Atlanta, like I had to walk her and I was like, hey, just go run out and do what you gotta do, and I catch up with you later. So, but we could jump right into it. What you got? What topics you want to talk about? I got a few things, but I'll leave it to you to jump in. If you ain't got none, then we'll just jump into some of the stuff I already got written down. So
Um, I want to start with the Lions.
with the Lions, okay, let's
The
go.
Lions is like the big new crave. Everybody, the energy in Detroit, them winning, just the mindset. It's like football is the one place where race, age, education, none of that shit matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's
No,
like
that's
when everybody is in harmony for their team.
and it's like we've been waiting. It's like I mean it's been some time, in between. You had Megatron, Stafford, you had Barry, you had some whack ass QBs from the '90s. It just we can never piece it together, and I feel like it's finally now getting to the point where it's like, okay, we're
Yeah,
good and we're better. Like we're not just, an 8-18, is or we have the potential to go to the Super Bowl.
yeah.
Which would be crazy. I mean, you'd be down in the where is it at New Orleans? Be
New
down in
Orleans.
New Orleans with buffs and and Coogis or
Like,
whatever.
you listen now, the way them room prices looking, it won't look like Houston. It won't look like Indy, and it won't look like New Orleans last year. Room rates is a 2,000 or better for a decent hotel. Like I was looking online, a Super 8 is like 900 a night. No fucking way. If you don't
That
got family or somebody you can stay with,
mm-hmm.
yeah, don't waste your or spend all your taxes trying to go to Super Bowl. Don't do
Shoot.
it.
The game is last I looked, and it's been a while because I was considering going to the Super Bowl maybe around like 2019 to 2018, and I just remember the tickets being between 10 and 12,000.
Oh, I got a
Damn.
plug on tickets. One of my
Oh,
friends from college, he played in the NFL, so they get him like NFLPA set aside tickets for like alumni players.
oh, that's dope.
They still got to pay for them, but it ain't nothing like what we would pay.
Oh no, that's way better. Shoot, that's like
Yeah,
the plug for the Michigan State football games. So whenever we go to a bowl game, I pull that plug out and try to utilize as much as possible, and they still be
yeah,
on a higher end, 250, 500. It just depends on the size of the bowl,
yeah.
but
I'm
but man,
not. I've been to a couple of bowl. Well, I went to bowl games when I was in college, and I went to like two afterwards. But I've never paid for a Michigan State game. I'm not paying for them. Not ever.
well, I went to the Rose Bowl, and when I went to the Rose, that was
Well, that
that
was
was
what 2015 and 14.
no, it was before. It was because we went to the Outback Bowl. I want to say it was 2012. So the Rose Bowl, I want to say it was 2011. It was 2011,
Okay.
2000, one of them two. But when we went, I mean, hell, the tickets were still, I think they were 250 each. And that was at price. That was what they were sold to the alumni. So that was, I can't imagine a Super Bowl ticket.
I
That'd
think they used to charge them 500. I think they might have went up to 750, but that's still like they got good seats though.
oh, shit. God
It's something
damn.
like that. It's not expensive. I mean, it's we phrase that it's not as what we would pay like. I mean, it's
I
definitely
look, I feel like this. I'll go up to probably about 2 or 3 on a Super Bowl ticket. And
it
then after
depends.
that,
If the Lions go, then yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's just one of them like you got to take advantage of it right now because it's not to say that we'll be on the downside. I think we're still on the up and up as far as
Yeah.
but at the same time, teams don't go to the Super Bowls that often. You look at the last year team, or Kansas City.
Kansas City,
I consider
Pittsburgh, and the Patriots were familiar faces all the time. But now they on the down. But they had a good run. All of them had a good run.
Solid coaches,
Yeah,
solid receivers. That's all it takes. And even with
and a good defense. You got to have a good defense. You got to be able to stop the offense. You got to stop the run. You got to stop. Detroit is just well rounded right now on both sides of the ball.
In the running game is ridiculous. That's what literally opens up the rest of the field. So it's if they go to the Super Bowl, it's gonna be an interesting sight down in New Orleans. I hope that it's possible. Like I said, it's a 5.5 hour, 6 hour drive for me. I would consider it. But
you should like the flights already on Delta are pretty much already sold out. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to fly into another city and drive because I'm not giving Spirit want like $900 something for a flight. I'm not giving Spirit $900 for no flight. Never. Spirit.
But yes. 900? God damn.
Yes. So yeah, no. But we can dive into the topics. I'm sorry. Look, I took
we can still talk about the line. I mean, we got time. We got time. Now I was looking at them and I was trying to make sure that I had that perfect segue into it. One of the questions that came up with or that we was talking about or looking at discussing. I had a question. It was like, how do you accept yourself as you versus what people expect from you? And I asked that question like I remember my boy always called me out on this. He was like, man, it was around like 2003, 2004 where you just said, fuck it, fuck what everybody talking about. You doing what you want to do. Like, I just literally had to just stop listening to other people and just kind of do the things that I wanted to do. Because what I was noticing is that when I was waiting on people, like, okay, I want to do this. Can you help me with this? And blah, blah, blah. Where like no one was, not to say everyone wasn't coming through, but they didn't understand the sense of urgency. Whenever I'm asking somebody for something, like that's because I've exhausted all my options or understanding of how to get there. So I'm going to ask you for help. And and sometimes as Black people, we tend to think that people asking is people begging. And it's like, no, I'm not.
I don't think that. I think that, and it's unfortunate to say, I think, I'm trying to find a nice, for some reason, Black people like to gatekeep. And I'm not a gatekeeper. I can't take the knowledge I have.
No. Look, I hate that with a passion. I remember one time I was talking to someone and I was like, hey, I've been trying to get at Nike. And she had mentioned like she had a family member that worked there. And I was like, can you, connect me to that family member? And she was like, well, I don't feel comfortable with, and I was like, well, I'm not asking you for the hookup. I have the expertise and the knowledge and the experience within my career. Like, I don't want, like, I have to, no matter what, do the interviews. Like, there's no nepotism at all in that. Like, I'm just more so looking for some type of connection to get within.
You could have just simply been asking because you want to know the culture of the company before you even apply. You could have got okay, what's the culture of the company? You be like, yeah, we micromanage, or they do this. It's not loving. They don't value their employees. You wouldn't even wasted your time applying or interviewing.
Yeah,
you could have just wanted knowledge.
Yep. And it was like gatekeeping that is worse. I was like, wait a minute, like I'm not guaranteed nothing, in this scenario. I still have to prove that you're not hooking up Junebug. You're literally talking to Sean to figure out if he's a worthy candidate or not. And then on top of that, what a lot of people don't realize, and maybe it's just because, I work in corporate, but most of the time in scenarios, they give that person that referred you a bonus.
Yeah.
And when I was with IBM, I was swinging. I was like, I'm going to get as many people in there as possible because they were giving out $2,500 bonuses. So,
yeah.
And listen to this. So I remember in one scenario, this guy I was trying to get him in. I was trying to get him in IBM, and he was like, "Hey, you go give me a piece of that bonus." I was like, "Nigga, no, like you getting a job." So I'm looking at it on the flip
I've had
side of it.
somebody do that to me when I worked at American Express. They wanted me to get them in. Motherfucker, I did your resume. I took the test for you to get in because you had to test like your knowledge, and they didn't
Yeah.
have no knowledge. I took the test for them, did their resume, told them what to say in the interview, and then you asked me for half.
Which is crazy to me.
Crazy
Look,
work.
you got a whole ass salary. Like I'm blessed to have. I mean, you're blessed to have that. Move on.
Right.
Like, not that's you have an opportunity. Like you're in. Go with it from there. Like don't worry about because I can look if I got a bonus of $50, if I got a bonus of $2,500, I would do this. I would have the same energy towards trying to push somebody into positions. Like my manager, like years ago, the only real black manager I've ever had in my career, like he told me that whenever you get into these positions of power, put 10 people in there with you. He's like, put 10 above you, put 10 like as your peers, put 10 below you. You know, because you never know when you may need that opportunity. And we don't build that within black culture. Like we
That's
don't like we just don't go back and pull the next person up. We look at it as we're holding on to our opportunity. That person may affect me somehow. Like, nah, like a career is a career. You are totally independent. If you fuck off a job, then that's on you. That's
right.
not on Keisha. That's not on Corey. That's on you. You fucked that up. You know, so
That's
I don't
true.
know. I always hated that gatekeeping mentality because you're making the decision before I made a decision. Like it's funny. I asked a friend. I was like, "Hey, can you because I was like, well, I was looking at opportunities. I was like, hey, can you see what your friend is saying about this specific role? And then the friend texted them back, was like, oh, that role is international. I was like, and like, what does that have to do? Like? I looked through the rec. I understand what the job is.
Right.
Like, don't make a decision for me until like I'm not asking you. Like, let me get in the
But I
door and
think
talk to those
I
things.
think what we have to consider is everybody wasn't raised the same, and some people didn't get raised, they grew up, so their mentality, we expect people to be like we would think. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you're thinking, I read the rec. They're thinking they might not have read it. We
Mm-hmm.
just expect people to be like we are. And I think that's where we fall short, is having expectations of people that they just not gonna meet.
Yeah.
And that's where disappointment comes in. Or even like what you just said about knowing yourself and what other people think. I listen, as long as I've been alive, that I can remember, my mom has always instilled confidence and say what you got to say to somebody and deal with it. Like she told me, don't harbor anything and hold it in because
Mm-hmm.
it's hurting you and they living about your life, their life. So I've been to a point where I don't give a fuck, but because I do business, I have to be more professional and tactful with how I say things. Or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I just won't say nothing at all. Like the best thing for me to do is not say nothing because you might catch me one day when I'm running low on the Holy Ghost and my mouth might not. I don't argue to win. I argue to hurt your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just let it go. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that about myself, Keisha. If you feel like whatever you're gonna say gonna lead to an argument or their action is gonna make you react, just don't say nothing.
Yeah.
I've learned that to be my life lesson is some shit just don't deserve a response, and some people don't deserve a response. Like you have to look at people and look at how they're doing, where they're at, and what is their purpose and motive for even doing something or attacking or not trying to get you the job or not trying to connect you with people. You have to look at them sometimes, and sometimes when people aren't happy with their self, they don't want you to be happy, so they're not gonna plug you with the job. They don't want you to do better than them.
Yeah.
So that's
Which is
what.
crazy though. Like I never understood it. Like I'll give another scenario where I was like looking at an opportunity and I reached out to someone that was a recruiter for the company and like what do you call it? Senior recruiter. Sent them my resume. It was like, well, hey, can you send me a cover letter too? I'm like, all right. Well, I mean, the cover letter is like, nowadays you done built your cover letter within your resume. But anyway,
Right.
okay, I'll send you a cover letter. I was like, okay, can you send me a blurb about you? I was like, all right, cool. So I ended up sending a blurb about it too. Text them back or ping them back LinkedIn. I was like, hey, are we good? Is there anything else you need? Didn't hear no response. But then I reached out to one of my guys, like Jace. I reached out to Jace. I know you should know Jace, but reached out to Jace. I was like, this is like a Sunday night. Reached out to him. I was like, hey Jace, I'm trying to get submitted for this position. Can you help me out with it? He was like, oh man, I got surgery prep in the morning, but I'll get it in before 8:00, like 8 a.m.
Okay.
This Sunday night. He's like, I'll get it in this morning, Monday morning at 8 a.m. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going through all this song and dance with this other person. Like, and I'm like, it's like night and day. You know what I'm saying? He's about to have surgery, like that's going to impact the rest of his life type of stuff. And he's trying to get my stuff in for me. And I was like, sometimes you got to realize like the people around you and understand that everybody isn't rooting for you.
Listen, 2020, I would say when my business started elevating, and especially in like the last couple of years, I had to learn to put people in different categories as far as friendships, life, and then I just realized that some people aren't happy to see you win it, and it's the jealous and envious thing about them. But some people don't understand why it's not them.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily why it's you, but why it's not them. Why it's not you? You rude, you curt, you messy, you're not knowledgeable, you don't know how to talk to people, your personality flat, you don't have a caring or giving spirit, you don't want to be a blessing to nobody else. Like, it's a lot of reasons why it's not you. And they don't think about why it's not them. Mm-hmm. They think about why it's you and not me.
Yeah.
So,
and that's sad because I've always, not to, brag on me or anything like that, but I've always like tried to bring people either along with me, and if they, if they got their own thing going on, hey, do what you got to do.
I'm gonna give you a word of advice. Mm-hmm. Everybody cannot go. It's just I learned everybody. Like, I literally had to, when I say I put people in different categories of my life, like I have people where I know I can't put them in certain situations because they're not going to know how to act. They're not going to know how to behave. They're probably going to get drunk, or they're going to embarrass me or embarrass themselves. So you have to learn that where you going, everybody can't go.
Yep.
And I think that's the problem. Sometimes you want to see everybody win, but sometimes they just can't win with you. Mm-hmm. And that's where we have to use discernment. Like, the older we get, it's called discernment and life lessons. And if you're still repeating the same cycles and same things are happening, it's you. It's not the other person. Now it's you.
Yep.
So just everybody can't go. As they say, elevation requires separation. You got to separate. Like, even for me, I had a conversation with my friend like a couple of months ago. And I had one with my brothers. And I was like, I'm outgrowing stuff, and it feels weird, and I'm kind of uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And they was like, what you mean? And I'm like, it's certain places I just can't go no more. Like, it's certain environments and certain crowds and certain things I just don't want to do.
Yep.
Like, my friends used to invite me to something a while ago. It's like house parties. And they thought I was trying to be stuck up a bougie or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, it's not that I didn't want to go. I said, but I always have to think about, if something happens to me there, the first thing most people want to say, or even my mom or my daughter, is, what the fuck was she doing there in the first place? Like, what was you doing there? Why was you even in this type of environment? Mm-hmm. And it's really it was making me uncomfortable, and I felt weird because I felt like I was outgrowing my friends. But it had to growth, something, again, requires separation. Growth. It's not that those people couldn't come. We just in different chapters of our life.
Yep.
And
look,
just what it is.
Look, I'm huge on that as far as like you can be a part of the journey, or you can be a part of the journey earlier. You got off and I kept going. A lot of people don't understand that, and you don't want to like leave people behind, but at the same time, you have to, like you said, you have to elevate. You have to figure out your next step to growing, and it could be exhausting. Sometimes you can, like, I used to have issues with. I try to be consistent with talking to my mom. You know what I'm saying? I love her to death, but sometimes I'm like, okay, I can't be negative every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you try to work out these things, and like I said, I talk to her every 2 or 3 days now, but not every day no more. Just
Oh my
because.
God. I, I would die without talking to my mama every day. Like her phone was lost over the weekend. Well, she broke her phone, and
Mm-hmm.
she could only text me from her iPad, and I literally felt like something. I told my brother, I said, I miss mama. Like I'm used to her calling me, or me calling her every day, us talking and texting 1,000 times a day, and I'm like, I felt like something was missing. Like I didn't realize. Sometimes when she called, I'm like, oh my gosh, she calling again. Oh my gosh, she calling again. She called me. She pocket dialing me. She calling me. But then when it wasn't there for me to miss, or
Uh-huh.
I'm so used to it, it was like I miss my mama. I ain't talked to my mama in 2 or 3 days. All I can do is text her on the iPad, and I felt a void.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was so happy my mama got her phone back on Monday. I don't think I've ever been so happy.
Look at it like this. So my mom, I went home when I was back there. Um, so I went through. I cleaned out. I tried to clean out as much stuff as possible because she has an issue with collecting things. She doesn't like the word hoarding, but that's the word that I'm going to tag on it. Um, she calls me and said, and this is why I try to be protective of my energy. She calls me and tells me, she's like, "Hey, what did you do with my medicine?" And I was like, I didn't move your medicine. What are you talking about? Like, well, you just throwing away my stuff, and you probably threw it away. You want looking through my stuff, blah 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 blah. I was like, Ma, I looked through everything. Only thing I threw away literally was things that you had extra of, or things that weren't no good anymore. I wasn't keeping any old mail or anything like that. I threw away those types of things.
Uh-huh.
She was like, well, no, you threw away my stuff. I was like, all right, Ma, I'll talk to you later. Love you. Get off the phone with it. Text my sisters. I'm like, hey, your mom gonna be mad,
Yo, mom.
but
Why I gotta be your mom, not our
because
mom?
it's their mom at this point in time. I was like, your mom gonna be mad, but she's gonna find her medicine. She's gonna be mad about not finding her medicine, but she's gonna call me tomorrow, or she's going to find it, and she's not gonna say anything. And I'm gonna call her tomorrow and ask her, did she find it? Called her the next day. I'm like, hey, did you find your medicine? She was like, yeah, I found it. I was like, so you're not gonna apologize? She was like, apologize for what? You was throwing away all my stuff. I was like, but Ma, you literally called me the day before 3 times while I'm at work. Called me three. I was like, damn, did something happen? Like let me answer the phone. Called me 3 times and was like, you threw away my stuff. I was like, Ma, I didn't throw away your stuff. But I was like, but you're not gonna apologize? She's like, apologize for what? You was throwing away my other stuff. I was like, you threw away all my forks. I was like, Ma, like you had over 30 or 40 forks in there. Like, what the, you don't need this shit in here. Like, you got, like, who are you feeding? Like, if anybody even comes to your house, for one, you're gonna have plastic. You're not gonna be sitting there washing dishes all day from, and you don't like people in your house anyway. Anyway, so
Like me.
so mind you, I give her the due, I give her the credit. I talked to her another, like, couple days later. She was like, I guess I can apologize for throwing or for blaming you on the medicine. I was like, all right, man, that's all I ask. Like, just acknowledge the fact that I wouldn't have just thrown away your things willy nilly. I was just cleaning up your house. Like, it was, but all that being said, my mom can really bring down the energy based off of speculation rather than, hey, I'll call her and I'm like, hey, how you doing? She'd be like, what do you want? Like, damn, nigga, I just want to know how you doing. Like, how was your day? I'm
No, my
I'm
mom
I'm
texts me
I'm
and my
sleep.
brother every day. Like, good morning. My mom treats me, granted, I'm 44. My mom does, we have a group text. My mom texts us every morning and tell us, good morning to my babies. Y'all have a good day.
Shoot,
My mom starts my day off with a positive energy call.
I would pay my mom money to do that. Don't get me wrong. I love her to death, and I know that she loves me, and she calls me, and she makes sure I'm taken care of, and she gives me random shit. But
He said random shit.
I got a. She gave me this mini ass refrigerator. I was like, what am I gonna do with a refrigerator? I was like, I'm just gonna put a pack of strawberries in this bitch. Like what the like that's literally all you can do is put a crate of strawberries in there. But anyway, she buys random shit and just sends it
It
to
was
me.
a thought that counts. She was watching QVC. Let her be great.
Look, I love her to death, but man, she has some of the most random shit in her house.
Now my mama be like, I seen some shoes. Go on Macy's or go on whatever website and see what you want. I'm like, okay, ma. I listen. I'll be honest. I'm probably the. I'm a my mama still spoils me like I'm a kid,
Mm-hmm.
so I
My,
love it.
yeah, no, my mom spoils me the way that she wants to spoil her kids. Does that make sense? Like
I get it.
yeah, like say for instance, if you, I'm trying to think of something that if you like, say for instance, I like pistachios as an example. So she be like, hey, I just sent you a box, and,
Oh,
and it'll be 10 bags of pistachios in it, hot flavor, regular flavor, salt
that's
and pepper
dope.
flavor. Like, wow, there's too many goddamn
No,
pistachios.
it's not. It's the thought. She wants you to have a variation. Now let her be great. Now I did listen. Yesterday I hung up on my mama. I ain't
Mm,
gonna. li-
mm,
So I told her, I said, um, me and my brother want to take you. Me and Kevin want to take you out of town for your birthday next year. She's turning 66. I don't
mm.
want to. She started getting mad and yelling because we want to take her out of town. I said, well, you don't yell when we pay these goddamn bills of yours, because me and my brother pay her bills for like years, the last few
Mm,
years.
mm.
So she like, I don't want to go nowhere. Y'all can't be planning stuff for me. I just hung up. Like, you ain't about to be doing this, yelling. You ain't about to mess up my energy. Like, who turns down the trip? Like, I kind of, I had to think about it afterwards. Like, my grandfather's sick. She his main provider. Last time we took her on a trip in 2022, she couldn't enjoy it. Like, we went on a cruise and she kind of stayed in her room and she was worried. And I had to think about it. Like, she wants to be here or close to him. You can't do nothing. If something happened to him on the ship, you probably not even gonna get a call.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I
Mm-hmm.
get it, but at the same time, it's like I told her, I said, you still got to live your life, and you want a few parents when your kids spoil you, like you spoil me, and my brother spoil you.
Mm-hmm.
So like most people be like, okay, well maybe let's just do a day trip to Chicago or something. No, I said, mm,
No,
it's
listen.
definitely a difference.
No, I look, I understand. Like we try to spoil my mom as much as we can just because we know she's getting older. But
Is anyone there with your mom, or all of y'all live out of
nah,
town?
it's just her. And
Oh,
we've been trying to get her to move. She won't do it. She'll
she
complain the other
live
day.
in.
Look, she was complaining the other day about giving someone a ride and they didn't give her $8 gas money. I was like, I was
Oh
like,
my god.
I was like, how
Oh
did
my
you
god.
get $8? One, how'd you get like? Did you just like look at? He's like, well, shit, I'll probably get maybe 18 miles a gallon or something like that. So I drove you 42.5
I'm
miles. So
dead.
that's around $8. Oh man,
Oh my god, that is hilarious.
she was dead ass, and I had to tell her. I was like, Ma, I was like, do you want me to give you $8?
Oh my god. What was the next question? I'm sorry. Look, we got all off topic.
No, you cool. No, so we talking about this stuff. So it was good. Well, one of the topics that's in there, we could pivot to that was um family values now versus like family values years before. Like, how has the families changed considering time? Because I know one thing for me, I've built, well, I have, connections with family, via social media and stuff like that. But growing up, I think, at least for me, when my grandma passed or when the older folks started passing, like there's been less connection from the next generation. And that next generation is like my mom, her cousins, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then for the younger folks, I mean, I went to Michigan State. Other folks moved to different areas of the country, and I feel like there feels like there's a disconnect. I mean, I'll see them from time to time, but it's still not the same as growing up with them before. So I'm just curious on your relationship with your family now compared to like years ago, or say 20 years ago or 30
Yeah.
years ago?
So I have a pretty big family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, my family, my grandparents, especially my grandfather, instilled teamwork and family. We ate dinner together, like my grandma cooked. We couldn't, when it was time for my granddad to get off work, probably like 10 minutes before it was time for him to get off work, TVs had to be off, the house had to be clean, anything we was playing with, any toys had to be put up.
Mm-hmm.
We all ate dinner together. We literally, like, I had maybe 5 cousins that were, I was the youngest, that were older than me. First of all, it never takes 5 people to wash dishes and dry dishes. We had to wash and dry dishes together. And as a kid, I
Really?
couldn't understand it because I'm like, it don't take all of this, but it was teaching us teamwork. And
Mm-hmm.
like even my grandma, like me and my cousins got back then they had like Area C, Area B in Detroit. And
Mm-hmm.
me and my cousins got kicked out of Cadillac Middle School my 6th grade year. And the
Damn,
thing
what
was my
y'all
grand
do to get kicked out of sixth grade? What was y'all fighting together?
Yeah, my grandma had a rule: if one of y'all fight, y'all all fight and don't come home, or you gonna get your
Mm-hmm.
ass whooped when you come home. So
Mm-hmm.
we all got kicked out. We had to go to different schools, but we was kicked out of school for like 2 months, literally sitting at
Oh,
home,
damn.
and we didn't get in no trouble. We was Lamborghini living, playing on the porch, playing tag, running around, running to the corner store,
Mm-hmm.
while we all kicked out of school for 2 months, and we didn't get in trouble because we all fought together.
Mm-hmm.
So up until like my family has always been like kind of at it sometimes, but not really. We really grew up as like we went to church together. We all we ate together. We celebrated holidays together. My grandfather gave all of us money for like Christmas, and we all went over his house to get their money. We always spent time and did things together. And then my grandma died. The crazy part about when my grandma died in '95. Um, So my grandmother had 2 other siblings, 2 brothers. She had a total of like 11. But it was crazy because um, my grandmother's oldest brother, he was literally at home using the bathroom. Dad had a heart attack on a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandmother's other brother came down from Flint for the funeral on Friday. 5 days later, he's driving back to Flint, had a heart attack while he was driving, had a car accident and died. So this is all in one week. My grandmother at the time was in the hospital, and she was the oldest sister. And we didn't want to tell her because she's already in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
2 days later, my one uncle died on Friday. My grandma died on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 in less than a week, pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a real hard time for my family. And I think we all took it so hard. But the thing that was amazing about it is my grandfather stepped up and took on that role as grandma and grandfather. Like my grandma died, my granddaddy retired. He was the one took us to school. Like, so I had a bunch of cousins at Michigan State before I even got there. Most of my family, except for my brother, all went to Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandfather was the one that helped us move in, picked us up on the weekend to come home, holidays, the summer break. He was the one that drove us, and then he had a thing that McDonald's off of exit 110 in Okemos.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he took us back to school, we all went to Burger King. I mean, not Burger King, McDonald's together. That was like our thing. My granddaddy picks everybody up from school. He like the other kids is younger because we have a pretty big family. We're like 4 generations in. So
Mm-hmm.
even at 80, was my granddaddy like 86? My granddaddy was watching my daughter. So he stepped into that role. He still was a manly provider because my grandmother didn't work. She just took care of home. So then he took on that role as the provider, the bus driver, fixing your car. And he did those things before my grandma passed, but he just took on a more caring role
Mm-hmm.
once my grandmother passed. But he really stepped up. Like my grandfather wasn't one for words. Like he didn't tell us he loved us, but his actions said he did. Like anybody in my family can call and be like, my car broke down. I need to get a new car. My lights cut off. My gas cut off. I'm about to get evicted. My granddad either you can move in or he gonna pay the bill.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin was like in prison for like 14 years. He came home, and before they come home, they have to be probation to somebody.
Yeah.
My granddaddy had to be like 82 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin, per se is a violent criminal, and my granddaddy's like let him move in with him and get probation parole to his house. But at the same time, it was a great thing for my cousin because it made him take care of my granddaddy, made him a little more responsible, and
Mm-hmm.
it brought out a nicer side of him being with my granddaddy.
Mm-hmm.
So most people at 80 something years old ain't taking in a wild ass grandkid. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But back in 2019, my grandfather was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
So my grandfather had went missing, and like my whole family came over, and like they had put like an Amber Alert out for him. So like our family was kind of going through it then, but uh, and we would still like our family would hang out, do holidays together. But once my grandfather got sick, it was like the detriment to our family values because as big as our family was, we started off with a schedule to watch my grandfather, and people just fell by the wayside from just being selfish. Like my grandfather, three of my cousins, he adopted them and took care of them and raised them, and like he's always helped everybody out. Let my cousins move in, their husbands, my uncles, they whoever. And to see so how some people, when they can't benefit from you, and you can't do nothing for them no more because you sick, people forget about you. And even for me, I don't fuck with most of my family outside of like my mama, my brother, my kid, and like a couple of my cousins. I have anger towards them. Um, More so because I feel like they selfish. And my
Yeah.
thing is like, me and my brother both are busy, like with work, and then we both have businesses, and then I speak a lot. And if I can commit myself, and literally before my granddaddy got sick, I went out of town at least once a month. My whole lifestyle has changed, and me giving up a Saturday to go over there for a few hours and watch him for the last 3 4 years has been an adjustment. And I'm like, people don't sacrifice, or they just so selfish, like, oh, I got to continue with my life, I got this going on. But he sacrificed so much for us, and people just forget that, how he stepped up, and he always looked out from a mental, physical, financial. My granddaddy has been it. And like I hold a lot of anger and resentment like towards some of my family. Like I don't go to family functions, I don't fuck with them people.
Mm-hmm.
um you heard me say them people. But like my family, like me, my mama, my brothers, and my baby, we do stuff together. We still have those same family values, but I lost a lot of respect for people in my family when my granddaddy got sick.
You know,
So
it's hard because it's like you mentioned that when you're trying to like you can do your own thing, you know what I'm saying, but what got you there? And it's like
right.
you're saying your grandfather was a catalyst of your whole like not, I want to say your whole. I mean, I can't speak for your family, but you're saying pretty much for your whole
My whole
family,
family, yeah.
and to not have that, you know, um, I mean, not giving back is crazy to me.
Like I'm not gonna say my family, one of my family members, my grandfather, this is when he first started getting Alzheimer's. My mom and my uncle came over his house, and he like the other day my family member was in the basement banging on something, and he was like he's making a bunch of noise. My mom and my uncle go in the basement. My family member done broke into my grandfather's safe.
That's
I mean, just how people will do you. Or all of a sudden, like when you can't get money out of them, or you can't, he kind of sick, and you like, granddaddy, can I get? He ain't in his right mind. That's and you don't, he ain't handling his own affairs at this point. You know what I'm saying? But it just shows you how people are.
mm-hmm.
Like in our
But
transparent. This is a just transparent moment.
mm-hmm.
Like we had cameras in my granddaddy house, and one time one of my family members, she was watching him, and my mom just so happened to wake up in the middle of the night and look at the cameras, right? And she noticed one of my family members they wanted him to go to sleep, and they was up and they had company over or whatever. My mom seen on camera one of my cousins, one of my family members, dragging my granddaddy across the floor.
Trying to do
Like,
what? What?
like dragging him to his room out of a chair, out of the living room into his bedroom. Like, and that's why I go back to, I just don't fuck with them people. I'll say some of them I ain't even fucking speaking to. Like one of my cousins, she can get dog walk. Just being honest, but because she disrespected my mom, she has so much to say but doing so little. But you just see how people, when they can't benefit from you and they not getting that money out of you, they'll switch up. And this is literally the man that you need to go to the doctor. Like, before my granddaddy went missing, 3 weeks before that, I had to have some stuff done on my eye where they dilated my pupils. 3 weeks before. Everybody else had to work. My grandfather, literally at 89, was the one that took me to the doctor, picked me up, drove me back home. And his dementia, at the time, his Alzheimer's was so aggressive. 3 weeks ago, he could drive. He drove me from Detroit to Southfield. 3 weeks later, they found him the next day, 4 hours away in his car, walking in the rain. His car had flipped over and was like in a ditch, and he was walking in the rain. But they did the Amber Alert, and he was like somewhere in Whitefield, so they clearly knew he wasn't from there. And somebody literally found him walking in the rain. And it's just like, even now, family is so different because most people are selfish. They are selfish, and if you can't do nothing for them, they don't want to do nothing for you. They forget everything you've done for them over their lifespan because they want to live and enjoy their life now.
But this is what I never understood about the family dynamic, right? Like, I have cousins that I'm when I go back to Muskegon or Grand Rapids or whatever, that I'm cool with, but it's like, I would rather break bread with you. Like, I'm not trying to get over on you. I never was like, from my mom to my aunts and all that stuff. Like, what makes it comfortable to say, well, this 89 or this elder gentleman, okay, well, he ain't gonna remember. Let me try to take advantage of. I don't understand that energy. Like, it's usually over like 20. It ain't over no real like thing that can cause it, and you impact everybody within the family. Like, oh well, no, we can't have them over there. They be stealing. Oh, you can't have them over there. They be treating him like whatever. Like, and that's just crazy to even think that.
Yeah, and like, our family is so split up. Like, my daughter's 12. My little cousin's around her age, because I don't fuck with them. You can tell when grown people talk around kids, because now your kids are displaying that same behavior and treating my kids a certain way. Or you see my kid and you don't speak to my kid. Me and you can be beefing, but kids ain't got shit to do with it. So now I really don't fuck with you because I don't play about my kid. And to me, it's like, you wouldn't even think we grew up in the same household or had the same family or the same family values, because how people are. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it's a lot of, in my family, it switched from family values to, once my grandfather got sick, the glue just kind of fell apart. But I will say, because me and my family used to get into it a lot, even when my granddaddy wasn't, before he got sick. The biggest peace I found in my life ever in the last 4 years was removing myself from my family. The best peace. I didn't feel like I elevated. I didn't grow until I got that negative energy from my family out of my life. Like, I have people be like, y'all ain't gonna reconcile. No, I like the peace I have in my life right now. Like, if we ain't at my granddaddy house, and sometimes we don't even speak there, I'm not trauma bonding with nobody just because somebody died. I don't fuck with you in life. I'm not fucking with you in death. I don't fuck with you before such and such died. I'm not gonna fuck with you when they die. Like, I've made it known. Some of my family members, if I die before my mama and my brother, they are not welcome at my funeral. Please don't do it.
Look at it like this, though. I mean, it's like this goes to what we alluded to before. You live one life. You don't need like if you're going to be negative or you're not going to help me grow, help my family grow, help my daughter grow, help my mom grow, family in general, then why do I need you around?
Yeah, peace
You
is
are
priceless.
literally like I don't, I don't get me wrong. I have people that have been associates that were on the lines of friends, and they switch. Like you said, there's people in boxes, and it's like, okay, I can trust you to this point. I can trust you to this point, and that's literally setting boundaries for yourself and understanding that no, that person I don't rock with to a certain extent, or that person I can't travel with, or that person
Right.
that person can't
I
that
got some
person
of
can't
them.
come to, look, that person can't come to my house, or that person like, and that's just
Man,
very
it's some
important.
people. I had to learn this, and this is so funny you said this because I'm planning my birthday trip, right?
Mm-hmm,
So a few years ago, I went on a birthday trip when I turned 35,
mm-hmm.
and I went out of town with somebody, and they only took $500, and we was gone for like 6 days. I ain't
How?
never going on no motherfucking trip with you. What the fuck we gonna do with $500?
How? Look, wait, and that's
What the
include
fuck we gonna do with $500? I
how
was
y'all
so
go,
when I say I was doing like
y'all how
activities
y'all
and
gonna
doing
eat?
stuff.
How y'all go Uber? How y'all go?
And the crazy part was I had got a free room at the Grand Malaya in Puerto Rico. They didn't even have to pay for the room. I had got the room free through my job when I was working at American Express. They paid for it. So you didn't even have to pay for nothing but your flight.
Mm-hmm.
Like we
You
was
had to
doing
eat
it's like
500.
huh?
You had to eat. You
Yeah,
know.
I'm like, dog, like I'm not gonna not enjoy these water sports and doing shit just because you ain't bringing enough money. Sit on the beach and watch me. I'm for real. Like, and I have never been on a trip with her since. I done been out of town probably since 2015. I
Mm-hmm,
did 60 times.
mm-hmm.
Not ever. I'm at my 45th birthday. I was planning. Nah, I went. She was definitely not on the invite list. One, she gonna annoy my other friends. They already
Uh,
say she annoy her. And then I can't be prepared for you not to have enough money. Cause 500, I probably set aside 1,000 a day. Cause if
mm-hmm.
something happened, I gotta jump on a flight. How you go out of town and only have $500? And we was
Let's
gone
go.
for like 5 days, five, six
Wait, let
days.
me ask this question. Did did they run out of money?
I can't remember. I think I covered some stuff. I covered the real
Oh
estate because they
no,
didn't
no, we
have enough.
ain't no covering. Like only way is covering like I give a prime example. I don't want to disrupt your trip, but I had a scenario where I went on a cruise with my best friend or one of my best friends, and I was about to board the boat, and I don't know if I lost it the night before. What happened to it? I lost my passport. Couldn't get on the boat. I had to. So the cruise was starting in Miami, and it was going down to the Keys. I had to. This is work. It was a good trip, but it was one of the worst. I had to make it work. Um, I had to call my mom, have her. This is when I lived in Ipsy or Ann Arbor. I
Uh-huh.
had to have her drive from Muskegon to Ann Arbor to get my birth certificate, to fax it to the airport in Miami. Then I had to rent a car to drive from Miami to the Keys, which is like a 6 hour drive.
Yeah.
So, so then I finally got down there. I had to pay an extra $400 to board the boat there because you can't just board the boat. Like even if I had a ticket and everything, you can't just board the boat down there. So then I had to pay an extra 400 for that. So now I'm like I'm already 1,000 in that I done spent off of just some bullshit. I finally get on the boat, get in there, hanging out with my boy. We rent scooters, fall off the scooter. I
Oh
pay
my
for
God.
insurance. Look, I pay for insurance. The insurance was like it covered the deductible was up to $500. I was like, hey, look. I was like, I got $300. Like that's all I got left. It's like I done, like I'm exhausted. I done spent so much money on this trip just for a funky ass 4 day cruise. Man. So I did borrow 100 for him because I didn't have the cash available at the time, and I had to get the dude's cash. And but literally, I had spent like $1,400 on a
Oh my
cruise
God.
that
A
already
4 day
paid.
cruise.
A 4 day cruise. The cruise is paid for, flights paid for. Because I looked at it from the standpoint like this. I was like, well, if I don't get on the boat and I miss this, I missed the boat, then I got to pay to stay in Miami. Which I mean, I'd have figured it out. I'd have stayed in
Yeah.
Miami. But I'm like, my boy's on the cruise. I put my bag on the cruise. I told him to take my bag on the cruise. So I got to get to the, like, that's how my mind works. I'm like, okay, you'll figure out, just put that on there. We'll figure out the solution later. So I managed to get on the boat, but I spent like $1,400 getting on the
Heck
boat.
no.
All
Your mama the
cashed
real
out.
MVP from driving from Muskegon all the way to Ann Arbor.
Yeah, that 2.5 hours, like, but that's why I said, look, I can complain all the time about my mom's, but at the same time, she'll come through for me every single time.
Yeah.
It ain't never been a time where I was like, my mom couldn't help me. Now, if she get on my nerves, she get on my nephew nerves, or my oldest nephew nerves. She get on my sister's nerves. She get on everybody's nerves. But the difference is, like you was talking about the family dynamic. Everybody that they ask her for stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like I ask my mom for stuff, but I do for her as well.
Yeah.
And I don't complain about her. And that's the one thing I don't like about people. Like they complain. They're like, "Oh, Aunt Evelyn mean." I was like, but when you need something,
They
when
love us.
when your mom over here in prison, or your daddy over here doing drug, like you can go to Aunt Evelyn, and Aunt Evelyn get you straight. You can stay over here. You can stay in our house for like 2 to 4 weeks. You can, like, whatever you need. Whenever they needed something from Aunt Evelyn, she was right there. So that's why I don't complain about my mom. I just try to protect the energy, but I love her to death, and I talk to her as much as I can. But it's just that family dynamic. A lot of people don't
Mhm.
don't understand that. Like, nah, you can't pick and choose, like, who to, like, if your mom is good to you, try to be good to her as much as she can, as you can. So
But you know what I learned, and I didn't learn this until I went to Michigan State, because in my mind I thought everybody family was like mine. I thought everybody did Sunday dinner together. And remind you, it was like 20, 30 of us in my grandparents' house. But we
mhm,
all ate together. We all had to pray together. We
mhm,
did everything together. So like holidays, we was always together. 4th of July, whatever it was, like
mhm,
up until 4 years ago.
mhm,
But me and my cousins was talking about it, and it was so weird to us that everybody didn't function like us. We thought everybody functioned and did the family thing. It was big family like us. So it was
mhm.
like weird. Like, y'all don't do Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
Y'all don't go to church. Y'all don't do, like, it's crazy. So like even with me now, I just had one kid, but I make sure I take my daughter on at least one trip a year. She damn near gets me for more than one. But I have my kid kind of old at 32. For
Mhm,
most people, that's considered old. But I'm trying to create as many memories with her, but instill her some value, confidence, and teach her a lot, because we don't know when my next day might be my day to go see the king. So
mhm,
I try to pour as much as I can into her to make her be in a position where she's got enough on her own, or when she
mhm,
get 18 or however old, I've taught her enough and instilled in her enough.
mhm.
And I
And
think a
that's
lot
just
of people not, because people are becoming grandparents at like 32, 33, 35, 36. It's not the same, because a lot of people are still Lamborghini living, and they still, so you can't instill no values. You can probably babysit, if that, and some people don't even want to do that, but you can't have that same family dynamic when you don't want to be grandma, you want to be grandma, and grandma still in the street and they ain't really saying nothing but sit down, shut up, stop hollering. Like, what are you doing with them? What are you
mhm,
instilling in them? Are you doing, like, even for me, my daughter in the 7th grade, we still do homework. I still make her read every day after she got out of school for an hour, and then tell me 3 words that you didn't understand or didn't know how to pronounce, and now tell me what they mean.
mhm.
And most people aren't doing that. The teachers at school can't do it by themselves.
Yep.
So what if little Johnny failing? Little Johnny either ain't paying attention at school, or you ain't doing your part at home.
Mhm.
And that's another thing people don't get. You have to pour into your kids. Some of the most successful people, some kids are naturally smart. My daughter's kind of on the naturally smart side, but I want her to be advanced.
Yeah.
And if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do as a parent, I'm failing her.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I do business stuff, I take my daughter with me a lot. Like I have a business with her, but I started taking her to hear me speak. And like even the other day, like she know I teach credit literacy. She's showing me videos and sending me videos to implement into my curriculum and my presentation for middle school and high school students. And I'm like, dang, that's so dope. Like I done poured
Mm-hmm.
so much into her. She know how to pour it back into me now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been times where like um with my grandfather having Alzheimer's, she goes with me to watch him on Saturday. So it's been times where we think he in that internal sleep, and I broke down crying after we left, and my baby comforted me like, "Mama, just pull over, get yourself together." She rubbed my back, wiped my eyes, like just relax. We'll start back driving once you get yourself together. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's been a support for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she like then there's some days where we both scared. Like I had to tell my mama one time, like, I don't want to know. I don't know if I want to bring my daughter over here no more because I don't want to take a chance while I'm watching him that he's in that he goes to that eternal sleep, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to have that memory of him or that for her.
Yeah.
And
It's
I don't
definitely
like,
impactful. Yeah, it definitely because
yeah. And I think my daughter is his great. I don't know. She's a great something grandchild, but she's the one out of that generation that sees him the most because my mom watches him 6 7 days a week. So like my mom gets her from school for me. So she's the one that spends the most time with him. Out of like even the grandkids, my daughter probably see him more than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Grandkids, great greats, she sees him the most. And I admire how she even knows how to take care of him, make him laugh, and talk to him. Like I find a lot of my own strength some days from my kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's listen, people don't understand watching somebody with Alzheimer's that you love um, deteriorate in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
and every week you don't know if they're gonna be asleep, like just chilling, or if he gonna use the bathroom. One time he tried to hit me with a skillet. It's been a couple of times I thought he was dead. It's just really hard to watch somebody change from a person that I've been knowing my whole life, and 40 years later, he's turning back. He's turning back to a child or to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that is more stressful, I think, than anything I've experienced. Like I tell people, they be like, asking how I'm doing. I said, some days it's good, some days it's bad, but it's very hard. And I think that's why I be so mad at my cousins because they don't understand. Like, I see this. You come down once a month. You come over once every 2 or 3 months and see him or watch him, and you don't know what it's like. Like I had to even take a break for myself from my mental. It was hard. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard. Like just seeing it, like just the change and him
Yeah.
not knowing it.
Yep. No, it's difficult. I mean, my
I'm
uncle.
sorry.
No, you're fine. No, my uncle, he went through it, and like a lot of my family is he's gone now, but a lot of my family didn't realize because his wife, my aunt Bertha, she was with him. They were married for 35 years, and he was dealing with Alzheimer's dementia for like 4 or 5 years, and they were like, well, it's it's like that hard relationship that I deal with, with my uncles or aunts and all that stuff, and even my mom, it's like, well, if they if she wants, it's little things that they'll say. I'm like, well, she's in the house with him every day for 35 years. Like that's his wife. Like take that into account that she's not doing him wrong. She's trying to do the best thing for him. She's with him every day where, she would explain to me scenarios that, she felt endangered, or the police had to be called because he was, he couldn't remember where he was at. You know,
Mhm.
um, one time I went home and because I would try to come home and see him because this is when I was in Chicago, so it was a little bit easier for me to get home. And I went home and I was like, "Hey, and Bert, is it okay if I take him out to eat?" and I know old niggas they like to eat Golden Corral for some reason. I don't know why. Like that's Golden Corral is like they shit, whatever. But so
That's funny.
look, I take him to Golden Corral and we in there and he had, I let him, I try to, it's like $15 a person, but it was all buffet, all that shit. But anyway,
Yeah, listen, old people like unseasoned food that they can
listen,
just readily get.
listen, this nigga, so he goes up there and he had some peas, he had some tomatoes, and it was like some spinach on his plate. I was like, Uncle Child, like, man, I was like, I want to get some more food, man. Like, but he could, like, he wasn't, he's not there. Like, he's just literally reacting on what he knows, and
Mm-hmm.
and us as black folks, sometimes we feel like we can cure you, and we can't.
Man,
Like, I'm sitting up there talking to him. I was like, Uncle Charles, you don't remember blah blah blah. He's like, well, I was sergeant, officer, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, that's cool, but you don't remember blah blah blah. And he's like, no, but I was a sergeant. Blah, blah. I was like, okay, cool. All right, well, Uncle Charles, let's just make sure that you got a meal, and it. But to what you're saying, sometimes it's hard to, it was hard for me to see him in that state
mm-hmm.
versus like, I mean, he was a police officer at the community at the middle school, so and then my cousins, like he was kind of, and he sang in church, type of stuff. And when you start to see someone that is so
Vibrant.
engaged and vibrant and moving around start to like regress, it's a hard thing to take in. And then on top of that, like they still need you.
Yeah.
And from a family perspective, you need, like, those are the times to try to be around them more. I mean, everybody, and it used to be easy for me because my easiest way was, okay, I come home, I go to church, I see everybody at church, that was it. But hell, people stopped going to church as much anymore. So now I have
Yes,
to spread
guilty.
myself thin over going to everybody's house. I'm driving in from Chicago. I get there Friday night. Okay, I'm spending all this time. Then my mom getting mad. My mom get mad when I go see other people. I'm like, Mom, I was like, I love you, but like you could go over there with me. Like, no, I ain't go.
She's like, I ain't fooling with them people.
Listen, let me explain something. She gonna be mad. But anyway, my mom got into it with one of my older aunts, my great aunt. Her aunt got into it with her, and I didn't realize this was a thing. I was talking to my sister about it, but every time I would come home, my great aunt Saint, she was diagnosed with cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and I would come home, and this when I was fully remote, so my job was a little bit easier. I can drive in over the weekend, work 5 days, drive back to Atlanta. It was no problem. So she's diagnosed with cancer, and every time I would go, like I would come, but then I would, like, when I finished work on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, I would go to their house and just hang out with them, just to get some family time, and then I would just drive back to Atlanta, and I would do it every month. Every
That's
time I
dope.
would listen, and every time I would go, I'm like, hey, Ma, I'm about to go to Van Sank house. You want to go? She'd be like, oh no, I'm a little tired, blah blah blah. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So over a series of months, I'm like, okay, every time I want to go over Van Sank, I'm going over Van Sank house probably 3-4 nights a week, because I'm working to 5, going over there, watching fucking the numbers on television,
The lottery. They
the
got to watch the
lotteries.
lottery.
They have to watch that shit. Like they were like, nah, we need to watch that shit on TV. And then I'm like, all right, man, damn shit. So no Netflix and nothing like that. I couldn't work from their house because they didn't have the internet. They only had cable. So that's literally why I had to go over after the 5. But yeah, so eventually my great aunt passed. And I was talking to my sister about it one time, and I can't remember if this was before or after she passed, but I was talking to her, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get Mom to go over." I think it was before, but I was trying to get Mom to go over Aunt Sank's house. She was like, "Well, Mom got mad at Aunt Sank because she asked Aunt Sank to make her some greens because she was making some greens for somebody else, and she asked her to make her some greens, and my Aunt Sank said, "I have some in the freezer, and you could take those because I'm making these for so and so." So my mom was mad at my Aunt Sank for not making her some greens and would not go over and visit her.
Wow.
I was like, the petty shit that
Wow.
you know, like I'm not. I can be petty, but I'm not like I'll let it go for the sake of you know to see you. You know, I may not speak to you, but I mean, I'll see you like, hey, nigga. But other, you know, but other than that, I'm like, come on, man, you can't be that petty, you know. So, but you know, sometimes you just don't know how people are. But nah, man, this is a great conversation. I mean, we
Yeah.
have. I love that we got to talk about this. If you don't want me to share it, I won't share it. If you want me to share it, I will. I think this
Oh
was
no, I
yeah,
think this season 1, episode 2 is family values.
yeah. That was the title. I already had it. It was in my head. It was already there. So
Family
nah,
values or family matters.
no family value. We can't do Family Matters. That was a terrible show. But family
I love
values
that show.
was. You like Family Matters?
I did.
Oh man, we gotta have a we gotta have a conversation on these sitcoms because oh my
Listen,
god,
that's what our next show should be about. Just TV and the
I'm with
shows
it.
that past and present.
I'm with it. Look, Family Matters is one of the worst shows that ever came on television ever.
Um, my I would say the worst show. Mm,
I
I
got
would.
one for you, but I'll let you
I'm
go.
probably the one person that's not a big fan of Friends.
Damn, Friends was actually pretty good.
Friends and Seinfeld. I was not fans of Friends or
Damn,
Seinfeld.
I have a is it over? Yeah, I have a Seinfeld Lego set
Yeah.
sitting.
So,
Like, hold on.
oh my God. Okay, obsessive, big fan, major fan.
Like a serious fan of the show. But you know, I say everybody like what they like, but I will say
I think
this.
I like Family Matters because it was a two-parent family household, and each of their kids was different. They wasn't perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the fact that they had a nerd, but then they made them cool. The only flip side I didn't like
Laura
that,
was the asshole though.
but again,
Laura, we gonna go early.
that's
Fuck
showing that
Laura.
nobody's perfect. And then Eddie was like the cool ass brother that everybody loved,
We couldn't get
and
the
it
proper
kind of showed the
hairline.
dynamic of.
Hairline.
Wait, we got to say this for the next show.
Oh god.
we
We
gonna
got
do
a fucked up
we gonna do
hairline.
yeah, we're gonna do a past and present TV sitcom.
Okay. No, I'm with it. No, I'm with it. No, that's cool. So we about at time. So anything else you want to talk about, or as we can cut it short and we can
We, we
jump
can
to the
call
next
it.
time.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Cool, cool. All right. Well, thank y'all. Let's talk about it. Great conversation with Sean and Keish, DJ Reality. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right. Bye.
Bye.